So welcome to a training about FileLocker, our truly secure cloud collaboration service. My name is Derek Wood. I'm the product manager here at Infrascale. And today we're going to be going through the FileLocker Partner Program, which is an affiliate model program. And we're going to go through how the service is used from a functional standpoint, so from the company administrator's view, all the way down to the user level collaboration items and options they have. If you have any questions or items you'd like to cover specifically, feel free to do so. If any of you have collaboration accounts or FileLocker accounts already, feel free to put your email address in the chat function, and then as we go through the demo, I can actually collaborate with you, and then I have you respond back in the demo. So I could collaborate with you on a folder or share a file with you, and then have you modify it, save it, and then we'd have it come back through the session. So if you already have an account, please put your email address down in the chat. If you don't have an account, then say you don't have one, and then I could always just invite you here, and then you can create one, and then through the session we could do that as well. So current group, who has an account already and who does not? Very simple to get an account. Go to FileLocker.com and hit the Get Started. And then you get this sign up, very easy to do, and it gives you a free account. A free account, the only difference between a free and a paid account is one, money out of your pocket and hours. Two is you have more administrative functions, which we'll go through. So the administrative functions are things like reporting, incoming folders, integration with your Active Directory server via LDAP, and being able to set enterprise info and these types of things. You also have a storage limitation per user of 5 gigabytes, and you can only have up to 5 users, including yourself. The paid accounts, their users automatically get they can have up to 10 users, and the storage per user is unlimited. There's also no per file size limitation, which is 25 megs for the free account, and all the admin functions. So first, let's go through it. Anyone who in here is not already a partner of ours with our product, SOS Online Backup? Okay, looks like everyone's a partner of ours. So you'll notice, and you probably got the newsletter, that we've added a little FileLocker affiliate module in the bottom of your SOS Online Backup partner dashboard. And if you're familiar with the new stuff that's come out of the partner dashboard with backup, you can take a look at trainings from last week or join the training this Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific to 10 a.m. Pacific. And we go through the company administration. So that's the new stuff. But here you have FileLocker, and it says you're ready to sell FileLocker to your customers, 20% commission on upgrades, and then you have this URL. So this URL is where you want people to sign up. And the reporting and statistics just shows you how many signups you've had, but more importantly, how many paid signups you've had. You get $1 per paid user. So it's $1. The user is $5 each, so you get $1 per paid user. And that's done quarterly. So we look at the sign-up URL, and it looks exactly the same as the one we just looked at, except it has a tag to you. So that's the way this works out. If people sign up under this link, they'll be tagged to you as a partner, and they'll show up under your reporting, and you'll get paid for it. That is the affiliate system. Any questions on that? Wonderful. Okay, let's go ahead and log into this FileLocker system, and we'll go through the feature set. First, before I log in, I'm going to open up our support site. Our support site, this is how you get more, just like backup land, so all of your backup partners are familiar with our knowledge base and how we like to get, or how we prefer you to get in touch with us. The first is come take a look at the knowledge base. So we add to the knowledge base every day. So even yesterday we added 7 new articles under admin functions. So you come in here and you have all these different items as far as how does it integrate with Active Directory. You pull this up and it gives you screenshots and a list of how this works. So we have a lot of stuff in here to go through. Just make sure you come and take a look through, search. When support gets questions from you, they will search the knowledge base after the ticket, or usually during the ticket, so that they can send you a documented answer if that's possible. If it's not something that's in the knowledge base already, they'll work with you to make sure that it's clearly what you're trying to get at, and then they'll make it happen, meaning they'll put an article in this knowledge base. So this is being updated on a regular basis, and so I really prefer our partners to come through this first. After that, you can submit a request. So submit a ticket. This is always a great way. So if you have any type of issue that you're facing, you can put in the description, just as you would for any other service or what you'd expect from your customers. What was happening during the time that the issue happened? What were the steps up to reaching the error or whatever confusion or issue there was? What happened afterwards? Screenshots are great and helpful. Also from the client side, we can get logs. So when you install the software client, you right-click at the bottom here and go to Show Log Window. Then it shows you the logs here, and you can just send log. And this will send the log to our support staff, and they'll be notified to hit Send Log. And then hit OK. And then you can put your email address or contact information, whatever you want, just a brief description of the problem, and then that'll be a good way for you to get a hold of us, or for you to check out what's happening. Okay, so that's how to get help. Now let's log into the system. So there are three different roles. I'm sorry. There's a company administrator role. The company administrator is just that. He's the company administrator. I just logged in as a company administrator, so we have these graphs here. The company administrator role is to administer what's happening with FileLocker. So again, FileLocker, the reason we came out with this product was because of a grassroots adoption, so a user or a democratic adoption of collaboration cloud services. The problem with that is because it was adopted from a user level and not from a top-down perspective like management, it's more common to have lots of different collaboration type accounts throughout your company, but there's no central admin for them all. So you have company data out in the cloud not being managed or accounted for. There's no audit trail or audit history. Your intellectual property is just flying by the wayside. We have no control or management over it. So that's one of the cornerstones of FileLocker, that this is a management adopted service because of our focus on security from not only a software perspective and an architectural perspective, but also from a deployment perspective. So if you have high security needs clients, or you yourself are a high security needs customer, we can deploy FileLocker on site on your own hardware behind your firewall. That way it's it's a file server, it's on site for you, but it also has the advantage of the cloud collaboration. All right, if there's more questions on that, we can get to those at the end, but I'm going to continue with the admin role. So the admin role has the control over who is a user in the account and how many users there are. There are a few different ways to add users. The first way is just to hit the Add User button here, or you can come over to the side, so under the Users tab, okay, Add New User. And this lets us create a new user simply by entering their first, last name, their email address, password, confirm the password, and then pick the size of the account you'd like to use, Add User. Or we can bulk add users. So we have a lot of users. Say you have 5 people. So we got jj@gmail.com, password 5 gigs, and you keep going down the line. And you can add pretty quickly, in a few minutes, a good number of accounts. Now let's say you have an Active Directory server set up, and you have a bunch of users already listed there, and you just want to add all the users that are in Active Directory. Pretty common from a top-down adopted service. So I hit LDAP configuration, and I come through, and I hit Use LDAP enabled, and then it shows you the type, 2000, 2003, 2008. You put in your URL, your base domain name, the search string. You can choose simple authentication or custom authentication if you need to have some sort of attribute mapping or schema option. So if you need that. What this is going to do is it's going to let your users authenticate through your Active Directory server. And once they log into the system, it'll actually create the account. So just because you are authenticating through Active Directory doesn't mean that every user in your Active Directory database is going to automatically have a FileLocker account. It means they'll be authorized to have a FileLocker account. And what's nice about this is also another added security feature is that when you delete users from Active Directory, you don't lose the data. So you fire an employee, when an employee quits, they don't run away with all your intellectual property on some cloud collaboration service that wasn't being managed. We can actually back up these files. So when the user is deleted, they get moved to the administrator's account. So on the administrator side, just see that. So that's a really nice feature to have. Or you can just remove all files, clear settings and preferences, etc. So those are the 3 ways to add users. Now, once you've added users, how do you know that the users, or what can you control about how the user uses the software? Well, one common way is to come into enterprise information, and this is your basic company setup. So your company admin, which is either you or maybe somebody in the company, more likely. Company admin can check the company name. They can upload a new logo. So here's your company is what we've uploaded, and it appears here in the dashboard. It also appears on the login screen. So each company or enterprise gets their own login. So if I use this URL, it's already there. So if I go to pressdemo.filelocker.com, the company admin shows up top here. So through this, I can choose to do that or not to brand. If I choose not to brand, then it'll just remain FileLocker branded. One of the reasons you may want to brand here is because it creates an authority. It's difficult to get users to adopt services, especially if there's already a service that they're using. Like if they're already comfortable using Google Drive or Box, then it'll be hard for them to use another service. So that you have to see, this will help put authority towards it. Your name's in the URL, the company name's here, and by yours I mean the company, not you as a partner. This is per company. So this helps spread the authority of this is a company-sponsored service or platform for file management. We want you all to use it. So you can select the time zone. Great. Instant file notifications. If you have some other place you'd like notifications to be posted, then you can do that, and you just post the URL here. So for all uploads or just for incoming folders, we'll get to what an incoming folder is. That would basically mean outsiders. So if we have 3 roles, we have admins, we have users, and admins, users, and free, and then the free version of both of those. And then we have outsiders. Outsiders don't have a login. So an incoming folder can be used by an outsider. Privacy notification, these are common settings to take a look at. Most of these you want to leave checked. So you have a checkbox to send an email notification once a user is created. It's a very nice way to do it, especially if you excuse me, are adding a lot of people. Require SSL. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. You want it to be secure. It's to do with company data. Download notifications on shares. I personally love this feature because it lets me know that that people I've shared files with are actually downloading them. So it's nice to know what's going on there. Then we have file retention policy. File retention policy is to keep FileLocker clean. You don't want to use this as a backup system. That's not what it is. If you want a backup and archiving service, we do have a service for that. It's called SOS Online Backup. Many of you may have rebranded it as your own, but that's what you want to use this for. FileLocker is for active information, active data. So you want to make sure that it's not getting crowded with a bunch of files that simply are no longer in use. If you look at anyone's backup set, you may have 90% of the data is stagnant and should be archived in some manner. You can also force this retention policy on all the users from an admin perspective, but each user has their own ability to set this through their settings option. Group notification. So as an admin, you can choose to get notifications that when uploads are made to the company account. That may be a lot, so you may just want to have a group notification. That's a good idea. That way you get one daily digest instead of whatever you want to do. And even then, you don't necessarily need that. There are the reporting home options that we have. Let's log back in. Okay, so we went through creating users, managing some preferences. Now let's go through managing plugins. There are a number of plugins for the system, and we'll add more over time. And for whatever reason, there may come a time where you need to disable something. So we give you the option to do so. So if, for one instance, Autodesk Freewheel, we disable that by default because there's no reason to have an extra button somewhere if people aren't going to use it. And having a plugin for previewing AutoCAD files in the cloud is pretty specialized. And if you need that, or if your customers need it, you'll pretty much know it, and you can just go and enable. So you have the three options here. You have disable, enable, and this thing that says and default. So what this means is disable means it's not available to your customers. Enable means it's available to your customers. And default means it's enabled, but your users can block it or not block it. So typically we just leave it there because users aren't typically going to do that, but it's an option for you. Good question, what's the LinkedIn integration? LinkedIn integration is when you go to invite someone to collaborate with you on a folder or file, or you're going to share something with somebody. It actually uses your LinkedIn friend list to send an invite. So a recipient would actually get a LinkedIn message with an invite to collaborate on a folder or to share a file. All right, so let's look at reporting. So reporting basics, you have the ability to see who's logging in, how many times, and over what span of time. So you can see the activity and the use of the system. You can see top users by storage usage or by logins over time. You can also see these items in total. You can also create a report where you simply get every action in timestamps. So if we submit this for the last 7 days, we'll get a list of every file that's been uploaded, every file that was downloaded and by who, uploaded by who, deleted and by who logged in when, and who edited what file when. So we get a full audit trail of what's happened in this account. And again, that's part of the value of FileLocker as a top-down adopted service. Now beyond this, every user, so that's the company admin. Oh, one last thing on the company admin, sorry, incoming folders. So an incoming folder is a folder that allows an outsider to upload files into your FileLocker account. So you create a URL, you would define where this URL is going to upload files, meaning which folder in your Collaborate folder, and you define the form that gets set up. So the admin controls this because it's administrative. It's a company function taking up company quota as far as files coming in. Let's go ahead and go through a quick create. So I want to create a new incoming folder. So I'll say incoming folder URL, training from the 30th of Jan. next, so that's the URL. So now it wants me to select a recipient. So I can select myself or any of the users in this company. So I'll select myself. Then it wants me to choose a folder, say examining incoming bin. I could create a new folder if I like as well. If I'm not the owner of the folder, I have the option to send the owner of an email after each upload, so I'll do that. And if I'm not the owner, then I have the option set to be notified as the admin as well. I hit continue. Then it's going to ask you for what type of form do you want. So you can go very basic, which just has add files and then upload. And then you have very detailed, or the detailed item, which has name, email address, subject, reference number, and a message, and then add files. So it depends how much information you want. At the very least, I recommend doing default, which is your email, subject, and message. And then this information gets sent with the file. So when you upload a file, or when somebody uploads a file, you know who uploaded it, and from where, and from when. When will we use this is a good question that just came through. So let's say, for example, you're a design firm, or actually, how about this? Can anyone think of a situation where they have people emailing them attachments? And then I'll go through an example. So just think of a time when somebody emails you an attachment, and you don't want to have to deal with attachments anymore, because file attachments are old school. We use file collaboration services now. You can just send them a link to this, and then they can upload files here and get them to you, and that's fine. And then you could work on them. One case may be, like, sometimes there are contests or models, so you could say, okay, company-wide contest. We would like everyone to submit a brief, feature description with a mock-up, or a team-wide description, and you have to submit it by this time and this date, whatever. Winner gets a Coke. So you put this out to the company, and then the owner gets notified when these submissions come through, and that's good. Or you could use this as a formal way internally to have requests sent to, change request situations. So if someone just wants to send a change request, then they can put it through here. If you want it to be anonymous, so anonymous change requests, or then you could do the basic one or the simple one, which doesn't have any email requirement, and then people can just upload a document that has something like that. There are a lot of different ways where anytime somebody's sending you files, design firms have this a lot. If someone needs to send you a vector formatted image file, those usually get bounced from email servers, or if you need to send someone an executable, then you can do it this way. It's a nice way of getting around the frustrations with email. If you use an FTP server at all, this is something that will help you as well. Okay, good questions regarding FTP. What's the FTP connector? Great question. So the FTP connector is just that, the connector to your FTP server. So what's going to happen is anytime you put a file or folder into your FileLocker account, all of that information is going to be copied into an FTP server that you define here. So that's all. This is not taking from your FTP into FileLocker. It's from FileLocker into FTP. Is that good? Great. Okay, let's get into a basic use of the system. Okay. So first thing is, we have the web client, and we also have the desktop application. Desktop application is very nice to use, and we will use it in today's demo. I can even minimize it here. So we have different actions. We can share, as we see here, and you have different options for sharing. You can share with a password, or you can just get the URL and then send it to somebody, and they can click it and open it up in a browser, and they don't need to log in or anything. They can just see it, and then people, if you have the share file, you can add comments to the file. And then the owner would get notified. So like, comment here. All right, here it is. I can download the file and view it. So that's just preview it as well. I'll download it, take a look. We got Cabo backup. Yeah, that's what happens when product management and marketing are on an open whiteboard later evening time. So that's a share. A share can be done at a folder level or at a file level. So that happens to be the only file in that folder, but if I have a share for, say, this file or this folder, I have a password for it too, so it's secure. So then now I have a lot of files that are in here. So share can be done at either a file or folder level, and it can also be password protected. And you can unshare files too, which will break the share links. And then we have collaboration. So what's the difference between collaboration and sharing? Collaboration is when it's at a folder level. So anybody, I haven't gotten any email addresses. Anyone want to collaborate in the middle of this demo? Collaboration is when you have somebody actively working with you on a set of files, and maybe it's not just those files. So for example, I run our special projects as well. So that means I have a project team internally and an external project team from the other company we're working with. That means we have, a handful of people on either side of the fence working together, and it's very difficult to make sure that we're all on the same page when you're emailing back and forth multiple versions of different files. So what we do is, I just set them up with a FileLocker account. We create a folder that we all collaborate in, and we put all of our documents there. So if any changes are made, any new files are made, we're all notified to those changes and new files. So when you collaborate, you have some options. You can add just viewing or just editing. I got a shy crowd. Can I just pick someone? Alex, how you doing? You want to do a collaboration? Do you have an account already? Dave? Chris? All right, well, I guess I can collaborate with myself. I don't want to put anyone's email address up here that's not okay with it. But actually, I'm already collaborating with somebody in this file. So you invite a collaborator, and you can invite to view only. So view only collaboration would be something like, we have a sales team, and the marketing team wants to collaborate with the sales team, wants to give a bunch of different marketing materials to the sales team. But anytime a file is changed or newly added, we want the sales team to be immediately notified. So what we do is we add every sales team member as a collaborator to that marketing folder with view-only privileges. That way they can't upload new versions, but they can download the files just the same. So example, incoming bin. So who am I collaborating with? So I'm in this folder, and it shows me who I'm collaborating with. So I'm collaborating with myself. So let me open up my account in a different browser. Okay, so I log in here. Okay. So let's find this folder, example incoming bin. Okay, great. So I have these files in here, and you see the files match the files over here because we're collaborating together. So I have this document, history events. It's an Excel document. So you know I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to say edit sheet. And it's going to bring up this little window within the browser screen, or I can have it open up a new window. I'm going to make a really gross change just so it's really easy to see. So I'm going to change the color of that to this red. Okay? So we can see that. I save it. Now this is going to do two things. One, in a couple of minutes, right immediately, I can refresh this, and I'll see that this has been changed. In a couple of minutes, down here at the bottom right, through the sync client, I'm going to see that the change is also going to be downloaded to my folder here. So in this folder, JO, I'm actually collaborating with this folder. So let's go ahead and create a collaborate folder on our desktop. So first I see history events, modified 19 seconds ago by Derek W. And if I go to the actions, I can get a view history, and I see the history of all the changes that have been made. So I have date modified and by which user. And I can change which version of this file is current or not current. So I'm going to leave that as current. Let's go ahead and just preview this real quickly. So I select this file. And there I can see the red that's been made. So that's been done right away. So then let's create a new folder on my desktop. And I say Jan 30th demo. And I right-click this folder, and I've already installed FileLocker and logged in. So now FileLocker is integrated with my desktop. So I have FileLocker sync. Sure, okay, let's hit sync. And what I'm going to get is a little notification window that asks me, where do you want it to sync from? So here it is. It asks me, from which folder do you want this to sync? So I say, okay, you know what? I want it to sync from the example incoming bin folder. So I hit OK. And now it says down here, sync started. And now it's good to go. So now it's going to start. Now it's started downloading all the files. So it's already there. If I just created that, hit sync, and that's fine. Now there's a sync notification. 9 files are downloaded in various folders. So let's go back again and see this happen. So I'm going to close this. And let's edit a different file. So we're going to come into this item here. Actually, here, we can go the other way. So it's the Jan 30th demo. I open up history events in Excel. Okay? So in Excel, this is the most recent as we had it. And let's say, you know what? I want to insert a pivot table or something. And then we'll do uploaded by system. So, you know, totally files uploaded by system, whatever. Just a little table. And I save this table. And then I close it. And I close this again. So it says one file was uploaded. So it's because I just saved that file. So if I come back here to the Derek account where I was collaborating, so this is not the one that owns that one, and I use remote version. Upload this file to the server. Okay. So that's because I have a couple other folders on here too, syncing to the same file. So it's nice that it gives you all the options. So let me refresh this browser. And then it shows us here, history events was modified 13 seconds ago by demo A. So let me open this up. So I won't let us preview now that I added a second screen. That's good to know. So let me take this and we'll say edit sheet. It looks like we're having a Zoho fun problem. So let me download the file then so I can show you what it looks like. All right, looks like we're having a Zoho issue. Let me close this out. So I'm going to go back here. I'm going to refresh this screen. So now I'm in the, see, it's a lot nicer when I have one of you in the audience participating with me. Going browser to browser is sloppy. So I have the history events. So we see that at the beginning of the demo, we had 6 minutes ago. We modified it. Then it was modified by demo A, modified by demo A again, and again. It looks like we had an issue with the file. Okay. So if that didn't work, then I would go to View History and go back and make this version current. And maybe this version is going to be the one that'll be okay. And also, it's very uncommon to have multiple folders here for different demos, all syncing to the same folder in the cloud, which isn't helping. Oh, excuse me. Okay. All right, so that was the conflict we were looking at. Okay, so let's go to the client on the desktop side and look more at the secure, collaboration aspect. So we are the only major cloud collaboration service to offer a HIPAA-compliant sync option. So what this means is that you can actually run a sync that is compliant with the Health Information Portability and Protection Act. So that means that the password to get access to that information is never actually stored on our end. So that's a significant deal for those of you who have medical customers. It also is about as secure as it gets. So HIPAA is generally kind of used as well, how secure is it? Well, it's HIPAA compliant, and that pretty much means that it's going to meet any other security needs as well. So if I right-click, this is one of the few times that we actually go to the client itself and right-click to do this. So we'll say set up a new UltraSafe folder. So I get the same options I do when I'm just trying to set up a general folder. It's going to first ask me for the local folder. So I'll choose a different folder, and I'll say desktop. I'm going to create a new folder. Say Jan 30th UltraSafe. So there we go, Jan 30 Ultra Safe. We'll hit OK. Now it's going to ask me to select a cloud folder. So it's always good to try to keep the folder names consistent. So Jan 30 Ultra Safe, although you don't have to. Certainly makes things easier on the user. So we have Jan 30 Ultra Safe selected. We hit OK. So now we know which local folder it's going to be, which is right here. And we also know what folder in the cloud it's going to be. Now we need a passphrase. So I'll create something super secure. Excuse me. And again, this is never going to be sent to the cloud. So we're actually going to hash this up and send the hashed version of this passphrase to the cloud. And all authentication and all decryption will be done on the client side. So the decryption is never going to happen in our cloud. That's one of the bigger parts about making it HIPAA compliant. So auto-publish to my other computers. For example, we have medical researchers who may be in a lab doing work and research, and they're inputting information into some spreadsheet or some database, and they make a save, and then they're going to leave the lab and leave all the equipment and go back to their office and start crunching data. Well, this would be helpful because then they get to their PC or whatever their desktop, laptop is in their office, and now they have all the information they had, and they don't have to carry around a USB stick. USB sticks are in high security needs environments often banned because they don't want you to plug in a USB drive and then walk off with company data. So we have auto-publish to my other computers. So then we set up the sync. So we set up the sync, and we can see in the cloud, let's go back here. We have this folder here, Jan 30 Ultra Safe. Now let's add a file to it. So let's, Word, sure. So on to Microsoft Word. This is top secret healthcare information. Must not be accessed by anyone else. Save. And we'll go to our desktop. Jan 30 Ultra Safe, and it had the Ultra Safe icon on it. Secret doc. So there's everybody type on somebody else's keyboard, right? Okay. All right, so that's saved. So we'll close that. It won't happen immediately, but it happens quite frequently that we'll see, sync now. So we hit sync now, and it's going to upload. One file's uploaded to Jan 30 Ultra Safe. If you want to see what's happening, you say show status, and it shows you the files that are uploading and downloading. Okay, so there we see that it's done. So if we refresh, we'll get an update that one file was uploaded here. And through the activity, again, every user has their own activity feed, and it shows what's been happening. From all of these files. So I can actually see that one of the examples from the other day that we were trialing, I had a user sign up and collaborate with us, and he didn't, looks like he created a sync folder and did not unsync that folder. But because we had multiple folders on our side, all updating, so there were 3 different folders updating the file, like uploading and downloading different versions, it had him downloading all the different versions into his bin as well. That's interesting to see. So we have uploaded one file, and we have all the items here that were done. So it's nice to see that activity. And that's the basic use of collaboration, in-cloud editing, sharing, and secure syncing. Any questions about what we've gone through today? I'll just open it up to questions now. Good question. Can you collaborate with a ultra-safe folder? No, you cannot collaborate with or share an ultra-safe folder. You see that the options are gone. So there's no sharing. There's no collaborating. You have to authorize it through with your account and through a software client. Now we are releasing a Java downloader. So if you don't have the Sync client installed, soon in the next few weeks, you'll be able to, through a Java application, actually do that. All right, comment on the Java application. Isn't Java the opposite of secure? It's, okay, so you're talking about the government putting out the whole don't use Java thing? Yeah. I mean, it's no different than what Apple said about Flash and Java years and years ago. Because you have to approve the application to be used for certain situations, the approval notice becomes somewhat of a dead function to some users who don't pay attention to what they're approving on their computers. So it's a very easy to exploit entry into somebody's computer because all you do is publish a Flash notification or a Java notification for something, and people generally will just immediately start hitting enter and accepting whatever it is without reading what it is. That's the big security issue with it. For the most part, it's a user level item. So we don't consider using a Java application for this to be an insecure function because our software architecture is very secure. So if you were to accept that invitation, you'd be fine. And if you're in a situation where you're using this software, you'd be aware of it. Fair enough. All right. Well, everyone, I appreciate your time with us today. And I know you're all working men. Maybe that's why we didn't get a good demo in there, but we do appreciate all your feedback. Feel free to come back in when you are more familiar with the service. I'm sure you'll have some more questions about different scenarios, things your customers ask you, but really the best way to become familiar with it is to use it yourself. So again, thank you for your time today, and we look forward to it.